to Coffee and Chats with Adam and Kelz, but today it's just me, and we are joined by Mr. Thomas Jenkinson. Now, Thomas is someone that has come through the Back in Charge Blueprint, and what we're going to do is we're just going to have an open conversation about that, his experiences of it, how he found it, and also, most importantly, what has happened since. So, Thomas, if you could just nice and briefly, just introduce yourself. Like, who are you? Where are you in the world? And what do you do?
So Thomas Jenkinson is the name. I'm 51 years old, and I'm based in Dublin. And yeah, that's it. Three kids, busy life like everyone, Adam. Joined the Back in Charge program. I think back in December.
Yeah, we spoke in November. Yeah, end of November, start of December, wasn't it?
That's right.
That's it. Cool. Yeah. So tell me, why did you get in touch? Like, why did we have a conversation about the Back in Charge Blueprint?
Well, I'd been following you and other people like you, Adam, on LinkedIn, and I hadn't been feeling great about the weight was going on me slowly but surely. I was putting off any decision making or any thinking to do with trying to improve the situation. I just wasn't ready for months. But something was brewing inside me, knew I had to do something. And I jumped on the scales at late November, and I was 16 stone. Now I'm 6'1", so I can carry a bit of weight, but that was the heaviest weight that I ever was.
So just to stop you there and ask you a question, like, how was the weight? What impact was the weight having on you? As like a person, as a father, as a husband, and and also professionally as well. What impact was it having on you?
It was slowing me down. I wasn't happy within myself. I wasn't happy with my weight. It obviously affects your confidence. When you're playing with the kids, you're just a bit slower. You're not as active with them, or active at all with them. The kids are mad about football. All three of them are mad about football. So trying to play football with them was a chore, out of breath. I just found myself, even in work, kind of just, the way I was dealing with the stress or whatever was going on was I was eating, trying to keep the energy in my body, but I wasn't managing that at all. The mood was probably a little bit low, and just wasn't feeling great about myself. I'd come off the back of a serious enough eye injury.
I remember you talking about that, yes.
Yeah, I kind of had lost my sight for definitely a week anyway, in the left eye. And I just kind of felt my health now was kind of starting to go down. I wasn't enjoying being 50 at that point. And when I jumped on the scales and I hit 16 stone, I just said to myself, I need to do something. And then I'd been following you on LinkedIn, and then you sent out some invitation. You were looking for four men for December, and I just thought, it's going to cost me nothing to talk to this fella. So I direct messaged you, and the rest is history, as the man says.
That's it, right? That's it. And like as Kerry's just saying, and also Russell Landy, like, you're looking well. Like, you are looking really, really well at the moment, and that's really, really good. So we jumped in, and I just want we had that initial conversation, but of course you didn't know me from Adam, did you?
No.
Sort of
Literally.
excuse the fun.
Yeah.
Right?
I've done that one.
Excuse the fun, right?
I've done that one.
But this is the fact, right? You didn't know me, all you knew of me was, I'm just some guy on LinkedIn. I help guys lose weight, blah, blah, blah. I've got all of these success stories from previous guys, and most people say, well, that could be anyone, right? But, we had a chat, like, what reservations did you have about starting?
Well, I had a few. One, confidence in myself. Could I, could I do everything that you were going to ask of me? Like I didn't know what you were going to ask of me. It was just there was a confidence within myself, and then there was the whole bit around the bit of investment required to jump in on the program. So, am I going to get value for money there? I'm handing this guy over money. As you say, I'd never met you before. I actually said it to you on the call.
Yeah,
How do I
you
know
did,
you're going?
right?
How do I know you're? I consider myself relatively streetwise, and I think I asked you the question. How do I know? I won't hand you over my money, and you'll never see you again.
Exactly right.
And yeah, and you said to me, "Well, you don't."
You don't, right? You
And that
don't.
was
I
the truth.
said,
Yeah, that was the truth.
but
Yeah.
also what I did say, right, as well, is I was like, well, use your credit cards because,
Mm,
and then you've got that security there,
mm,
because, that was it.
yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. But that's the thing, right? You took action, and like
Yeah.
Kerry said, right, a lot of people don't take action. They're like, they get all that far, they get right to the edge,
Yeah.
and then they don't jump.
Mm,
Whereas like you jumped and you did take action, so yeah, like you jumped in, and it's you jumped into the Back in Charge Blueprint, which is a 12-week program, which
mm,
is there to give men the tools to lose weight, 15 to 35 pounds within 12 weeks,
mm.
and also continue it. So, how did you find that process? How did you find the process of the 12 weeks? Because let's not forget the fact that you were commuting 2 hours to work,
Yeah.
having a full day's work, and then 2 hours back.
At
So, like,
least.
your
Yeah.
window of freedom was very, very small, wasn't it?
Yeah. To be honest with you, I remember when I jumped off the call with you and I'd handed over my dough to you. Um, there was a sense of relief, and then there was a sense of, oh shit, I've actually done this. And then, how did I find the process? The honest answer is, I found it brilliant. It was the best decision that I've made in a long time. But in practical terms, um, I loved the way the process was slow. It was step by step. There was no big asks. I can't remember, apart from the cold showers, maybe. I can't. I can't remember one. I can't remember you asking me to do one thing that I thought I can't do that. And actually, most of the time, you never really asked to do anything very specific. There was always an ask to look at something and to consider something, and then to of course there were certain asks, right? But none of them were beyond what was absolutely reasonable. And it was slow. I remember, and I kind of talked to my friends about this. Like the first week and I remember being on the call with you, and you'd sent out the videos for the first week, and the only ask of the first week was to uh, concentrate on the breakfast, get the breakfast right. And obviously there was a video around what the breakfast should look like in broad terms, but there was no, you must eat this or you must eat that, or you must have 2 of this and 3 of that. And there was none of that. It was like whatever you want, but within certain boundaries. I loved that process. That really worked for me. It was kind of step by step, week by week, behavior change by behavior change. It was one at a time, get comfortable with it, and then move on to the next. So, sometimes when I kind of reflect on kind of what's happened over the last, 5 months, I kind of, I just, it kind of seemed seamless, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Good. Cool. So look, let's get into some numbers, right? We all like numbers. That's why we're here. So come on in. At the end of the 12 weeks, how much did you lose by the end of the 12 weeks?
At the end of the 12 weeks, I think I'd lost, and you'll have these numbers exactly, I think I'd lost 32 pounds.
You lost 32 pounds by the end of the 12 weeks.
Yeah. And I had set myself. I think that I think it was that's 2.5 stone, if I'm not far off 2.5 stone, if I'm not mistaken, right? And I
Cool.
kind of
So you went from 16.5 stone down
16
to
stone,
16 stone. Yeah, cool. So
Mm.
you lost 32 pounds.
32 pounds. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
In
right.
12 weeks.
In 12 weeks. And also, as Kerry is saying, with a 4-hour commute as well, right? Daily.
Yeah.
Right.
And a desk job.
And a desk job.
Mm.
Right. Cool. So come on then. Like your program, like in the Back in Charge Blueprint, finished at the end of Feb, start of March.
Yeah.
We are now middle of April. So what's happened since? Because that's the real, because a lot of people, when they go to lose weight, they will do something for a period of time, they would lose the weight, and then when that program finishes, the weight goes back.
Yeah.
Like very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So you've been out of the program for what? Like your program finished 6 weeks ago, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
What's happened since?
Right. Before I kind of get into that, right, I remember during one of the videos that you'd sent around, there was a stat that was there for not for your program, but generally for people who lose weight. And basically that was that 95% of people put the weight back on plus more after they lose it. Right, so 5% of people tend to keep the weight off, and that stuck with me. And I remember watching that video, going, I definitely don't want to be part of the 95. I want to be part of the 5. Right, there's no point in doing this otherwise. So that was really important for me, and that's why I chose your program, because I needed something. I needed a system that I could take away. I didn't want to just buy 32 pounds of weight loss and then put it back on. No, absolutely no use to me whatsoever. I needed to be educated, and I needed a system, a template, a framework of how to keep this going and manage my weight through the highs and the lows. So I left your program, as you say, 6 weeks ago, I think. And since then, I've lost an additional 10 pounds. So I've lost 42 pounds. So I've lost 3 stone. Now, when I signed up to your program, Adam, that was my ultimate goal. Was I said, if I lose between 2.5 and 3 stone, 3 stone was the high end of the goal. If I lose 3 stone, I'll be a happy man, and that's a good weight for me. Very happy. And all right, it took me an additional 6 weeks, but you're never going to lose 3 stone in 12 weeks. So I've lost 3 stone since I think the first time I weighed myself on your program was on the 4th of December of 2022. And so 3 stone down. And I can tell you, I have not been living like a hamster.
You haven't. Like, we had a little chat beforehand, and come on, tell me, it's not just living like a rabbit, like you said. Tell me, what's been going on?
Yeah. Well, last weekend gone, it was Emer's birthday, my wife's birthday, and we kind of made a weekend of it. We had a few things planned. We had people over on the Friday night, and there was a lovely dinner had. A few drinks, non-alcoholic for me, but there was a few drinks had, birthday cake, all that chocolate cake, all that kind of stuff. Saturday we were in Dublin city centre. We visiting the Guinness storehouse. We were there for a few hours. There was a few beers had, a bit of dinner, or a bit of grub. But then we were out went for a meal that night. Nice fancy restaurant, a good food, a few beers. More chocolate cake, all that stuff. The weekend before it, we were in Belfast for the weekend visiting friends, and we had a lovely weekend. And I was, there were certain things I was still continuing to do, obviously, because you just don't want to go nuts. But I was enjoying myself, and I had the confidence. Yeah, sure, I'm probably going to put on a few pounds, but life needs to go on. You can't just live 100%. Your life. You can't live your life just watching calories and no, I can't have this, I can't have that. That's no use. No. And so, but I had the confidence that okay, the weekend, Emer's birthday's over now, and I'll jump back in. I jumped on the scales last Monday after the weekend that we had with Emer, and I put on about 5 pounds over the course of that weekend. But I just thought that's no problem, and I've lost that. I've lost that this week, and a little bit more, just by
Getting back
um,
to normal.
just being back to
Yeah,
normal, and
that's
just
it.
following, just following the I won't say the rules, but just following the advice,
Blueprint.
the blueprint. I just following the blueprint. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
cool.
Yeah.
So like you came we started talking because you wanted to lose weight. You
Mm,
knew that you wanted to lose weight. Like that was like I don't want to say the elephant in the room, but like that was the blaring thing that you wanted to change. You wanted to lose weight.
yeah.
At the start, we spoke about how your weight was being affected, like what
Mm,
impact it was playing on your life.
mm-hmm.
So like, come on, like, tell me, like, you've now lost the weight.
Yeah.
Like you've lost a lot of weight, 42 pounds in technically like, 4 months,
Yeah.
4 or 5 months, right?
Mm,
Which is really, really good. You've hit your goal, amazing.
mm.
So come on then, like, what's changed? What has changed, like,
Yeah.
with your health, with your relationships, with your family, your partner, work, what is going on now as a result of you getting back in charge?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I feel um much better, Adam. I feel very good in myself. Obviously, the confidence, the body confidence, and all that is much better. The kids aren't slagging me as much, which which is a good thing. There was a lot of commentary from the kids about my weight beforehand, so all that's gone. As I said before, they love playing football. I'm constantly playing football now. We're booking five-a-side pitches, and I'm the 13-year-old. Now he's 6 foot, and his mates. He has a good few mates, and some of them are built well, and we're playing five-a-side football with them, and we're an hour and a half. I'm running around, and so fitness wise, just much improved. Confidence wise, much improved. I've even noticed my skin complexion, much improved.
I know, like you're looking,
Yeah,
I think someone said earlier, I was like, you're looking really well. And, you
yeah,
are looking really well, Thomas.
yeah. Thanks very much. And it's yeah. So
Yeah, here we go. It was Russell. Russell, like I'll just share it again. Russell,
yeah,
Thomas, you are looking well, and you are.
yeah. Thanks, Russell. Yeah, no, yeah, I feel well, Adam. And you know what? Part of this as well is a lot of the advice and a lot of the coaching around kind of one step at a time. Don't be, everything doesn't have to be perfect. I watch a lot of what yourself and Kerry post, um, and look at let's not pretend life is not perfect for anybody.
No, it's not.
And I have days where I kind of you might feel a bit deflated or a bit down on this, or am I doing the right thing? But I just all the little things about what let's not let perfection be the enemy of good here, and one step at a time. And I, what I've really taken out of this program as well, Adam, aside from the obvious template about how to manage my weight, which I absolutely now have, it's this: forget about what happened yesterday. Stop thinking too much about what's going to happen tomorrow, lads.
Mhm.
Um, what are you doing now? What are you doing today? Forget yesterday; it's gone. Tomorrow you can't do anything about either. It's tomorrow's tomorrow. Now, what are you doing now? To kind of to improve your situation. So what I find, and there's a few times where I might have something where like, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have had that. But then do you know what? I just say, okay, I won't do that the next time. And you just kind of one behavior change at a time. So yeah, one step at a time. That's really the message. And stop beating yourself up when you kind of fall off the horse, throwing the baby out with the bathwater. when
Exactly.
you have a bad day or a bad, if you eat too much or whatever.
That's
Stop
it.
beating yourself up.
Exactly. And that sort of leads into Kerry's question that she asked earlier. She was like, good for you, Thomas. What would you say to other guys who are nervous to reach out but know that they want to change?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd say just reach out, just do it, because I always believe in creating options for yourself, right? And even when you reach out and have a conversation, you still haven't committed to anything. All you've done is reached out and are having a conversation. You still have the option to say no if you are not ready. But you got to ask yourself, why are you not ready? There's no point in jumping into this if you're not prepared to put some level of commitment and effort into it. So you need to make sure that you're ready to kind of make that commitment and effort.
But yeah, I totally get that. But also, let's just look at you, okay? Like you didn't you don't have to spend hours a
No,
week doing it, do you? If
no,
you work it out, it's it's not hours and hours you need to spend. It's probably an hour watching the videos a week. And then you've then just got to implement the changes to your food, which you already are.
Yeah.
Because you're already eating anyway. You're eating anyway, so you just got to make a few changes.
Yeah.
And then you just need to, commit to doing a little bit of exercise. So, again, like Thomas, we've just had a question come in from John. And it's like, are you doing regular exercise or just diet or a bit of both? And this is, like I said earlier, for you,
question.
You're completely different to the other people, because you didn't actually go to the gym once, did you?
No, not once. I actually didn't have the time to go to the gym, and I remember, part at a certain phase of the program, there is this requirement to do these kind of 3 30-minute exercises a week, which is absolutely not unreasonable for somebody in a kind of a steady less busy environment. It's definitely a reasonable ask, but I literally didn't have, because of the 2-hour drive and the dare to work and 2-hour drive back, and then the desk job. I literally didn't have the time. So I definitely wasn't exercising enough, 100%. One of the things that struck me when I first spoke with you, Adam, was when I had signed up was, I want you to do 7,000 steps. That's all. You can be doing housework. You could be walking around the office. You can be walking to the shops. I just want 7,000 steps off you. And I remember thinking, because I had the Fitbit and I hadn't worn it for a while, and I thought, well, that's reasonable. Like, I can't complain about that. So I threw the Fitbit, charged up the Fitbit, threw the Fitbit on, and I started tracking that. So I start, obviously I was getting up early, jumping into the car for the long drive, then working in the office. So I thought, well, how can I find the time to kind of get these steps up? So I just thought, I have a lunch break, so I'll go off for a bit of a walk at lunchtime, which was brilliant, because I was getting out in the fresh air, getting the vitamin D from the sun or sometimes the rain, just going for the walk, and that's been my exercise. Walking has been my exercise. I used to do a lot of running years and years ago when I was much younger. My knees wouldn't be up for it now. I'm not really a gym person. If I had more time, definitely would consider that. But to answer John's question, John, I'm just literally walking at the moment. So if we need something in the shops, rather than jump in the car and go, I'm walking up. And sometimes I find myself, if I'm in the house in the evening time or something like that, it's like, rather than sitting there and scrolling on the phone, it's like, feck, I'll walk around the block for 10 minutes.
Nice.
And it's amazing how it all adds up. And I was absolutely the world's worst for finding the excuses as to why I couldn't do it. Why it was, I was up to joining the program. I was the world's worst for finding the excuses. I would always find the excuse. But now it's amazing. It's just become so natural. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go for a walk. Everything now is just part of what I do. I don't even think too much about it. It's just part of the routine, part of my life. And that's something that that's something that I've taken out of the program, Adam, is I didn't take something and try to squeeze it into my life. This actually has fitted into my life. So I haven't changed, and people, probably find this hard to believe, right? But I actually haven't changed a whole lot. There's nothing too dramatic that's changed. So, but I have tweaked things within my routines and in my life, and obviously I'm watching while I'm eating. And there's obviously certain tips, or I don't like saying rules, right? About how much protein you have to eat and how much fat you take in and how much carbs you have to take in. But it's all very reasonable. So
You've got guidelines. You've got guidelines. You've got a container, and it's like, well, how do you want to fill that container? Like, off you go. Like you said at the start. Halfway through is, when we're talking about the nutrition, I'm not telling you what to eat.
Not once.
I've educated you around nutrition. And this is why. The guys that come through the program, they get the lasting results, is because, this is me just like saying it, like, what's different between this and like a diet, or this in a slimming club, or this in a personal trainer, is the fact is that you're getting an education, and we're educating you on it. So you get that understanding.
Yeah.
And because you've got that understanding around it, that then means that when you come to do it, you're like, oh, I know why I'm doing this now, which then makes it stick.
Yeah, and that's the absolute key to it. Not once have you told me you must eat this or you must eat that. Not once. But I absolutely was educated on, what foods are good, what food. I won't even say bad, right? Because it's not about that, because I definitely have some of the bolder foods as well, right? But I definitely, the whole protein thing has been a big education. And it's funny then, because when you get a handle on one element of it then, and you start looking at, okay, well, do you know what, I'm actually not getting enough fiber in, or I'm not getting enough potassium in, or when you start looking at all of these things, you're like, okay, well, I need to kind of tweak it. And then before you know it, you're like, oh geez, that's your diet. It naturally becomes much healthier. And I know why they made a video about spinach and Popeye now. It's like, spinach now is something. Spinach is a food you never once told me you must eat spinach, but spinach is now a food that I have every single day. Because it meets so many of my kind of nutritional goals.
Exactly, right. And this is the thing, you've led this. I've just guided you. That's it. Cool. So Thomas, like, we've been chatting for half an hour now, like, what is, like, let's wrap it up. Like, would you say, like, has been, well, before we do that, have you got anything else like you'd like to say before we finish off with like one last question?
Yeah, no, I just say to anybody who is watching it now, or anybody who will watch it in the future, I think it's key that you, and I kind of maybe stopped doing this for several years for myself, to invest in yourself. I invested a lot of time, in my family and my friends and my work. All those important parts of my life, and still are important parts of my life. But I took the eye off the ball, and I had kind of stopped investing in myself. And this was, I think I said it to you at the time, way back when, Adam, this was a present to me, from me. I had to pay a few quid for it, but I just said, you know what, I'm investing in myself here now, because
well, that's it, Beck. Yeah, I'm going to stop you there. Like, yes, it is an investment, right? It is an investment. But the thing is, though, do you remember sending me that message? It's like, ads, you've actually, like, you're saving me money.
Yeah.
So, like, you've actually paid, like, you would have spent that money anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's not really an expense. We've just diverted what you were spending to this, and now look at
Yeah.
you, like you're healthier, like everyone like that's come on and said you're looking good, Tom. You know, all of this, the family, you know, you're not getting the banter from your kids anymore, you know, they're not chipping at you about your weight, you know, you've got more energy, you've got more focus, you're healthier, like you're looking good, Tom, and you know, like you've done, like you've just basically you have got back in charge. You have got back in charge. Cool. So, Thomas, thank you so much for your time today.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much for your time. And, you know, like whenever I speak to you, it's always good just to see what's going on, because it's just an exciting time for you at the moment. So it's all good.
Adam, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So guys, like, look, you can watch this on, you know, you can replay this. It's all going to be on our streams. Also, it's going to be on YouTube as well if you want to watch it on there. But thank you for joining us today, everyone. And thank you, Thomas.
No problem. Thanks, Adam.